Hi guys, welcome to a brand new episode of 343. I'm your host AF, joined today by Jason, Nikita, Wasim, and Mubeen. How you guys doing? You guys good?
Much better than usual these days.
Much better. Is that because it seems like your club is going to be in different hands, in better hands?
No, not at all. I'm not very stoked about that news, to be quite honest with you. But happy to have 2 wins on the bounce for the first time in a long time. not really. It's not a good feeling actually. I'm not used to losing. Actually, being a Liverpool fan over the last couple of years, but. No, good to see that we're making solid strides again, beating 2 good clubs in a week. So yeah, feeling a little bit better.
Yeah, just going back to that Spurs victory over the weekend. There were some iffy moments, like not only in the second half, but in the first half as well. Like we spoke in the group about how Trent Alexander-Arnold was getting worked by Sessegnon. Like there were so many occasions where he just looked lost, and that's not the look of a player that is hoping to go to the World Cup and be the starting right back for England.
100%. I mean, Trent's definitely not himself, and I think what a lot of people have overlooked about Liverpool this season is that, guys, we played maximum fixtures last year. We were 3 goals away, and I say 3 goals, 2 goals against Real Madrid and 1 Steven Gerrard not, crapping the bed against City, go away. From winning 4 trophies. I think the team's a little bit burnt out over and above the fact that they're really, really freaking old. And I mean, Trent's played in how many Champions League finals at the age of 23? He's won how many trophies? I mean, I think the Oak's just a little bit burnt out. He doesn't know whether he's coming or going. But I also, you also have to give him his due in the sense that, he's running at like 12, 13 kilometers a game. He's expected to basically be on the corner of the box at all times. And I think the reason we won that game is because he's got a solid centre back sitting behind him. So, I mean, I don't think he's expecting to be starting right back at this stage. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know who Gareth Southgate is expecting to be starting right back. I don't know if Gareth Southgate is expecting to start a right back at this stage in the World Cup. So, yeah, all interesting permutations at the moment. When is he going to announce his squad, by the way? Anyone have any ideas?
I think it's Friday, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like I read
so late, honestly.
So late, eh? Yeah. I thought Brazil yesterday was pretty late, but then I was like, geez, but England hasn't even announced it. I think it's leaving it very, very late for these guys.
A lot of the squads haven't actually released the final squads.
I've only seen
Brazil in a handful.
Yeah. Which
Brazil,
is weird.
Japan.
I think
Mexico.
What weird for me even is the fact that the World Cup's 2 weeks away and we still got 2 games for most clubs to still play before you even go to the World Cup. So you have like a week with your guys, and that's not even excusing if these England players play against each other and somebody beats the other one, or they have. Now you must go into the camp and you must be friends with him again. Like, I don't know, man. A week, really. Like, it's shocking. And that's even so. Maybe he's waiting for all of those games to be done, because what if somebody picks up injury? I mean, I'd hate for anybody a week out from the start of the World Cup and you've been forced to play a game and then you actually pick up an injury that keeps you out. I'd honestly hate that.
I think that's why a lot of these Oaks are picking up injuries, right? Because you don't go, you go in half into a challenge, and that is also what causes the injury. Shame. I feel so bad for these guys.
I sent that clip into our group chat the other night about Jamie Carragher and Thierry Henry actually speaking about the World Cup being at the end of the year. And Jamie Carragher actually brought up a really good point in the sense that, like, normally when the season ends mid-May, towards the end of May, and the World Cup starts mid-June, towards the end of June, you have about 3 weeks between the end of the season and the start of the World Cup if you are injured, then you have that time to like recover or to like at least just your body time to recuperate before the tournament starts. Whereas now you are getting injured and the World Cup starts immediately. You leave your club, I think, on the Sunday, and you head straight to camp the very next day. I mean, there's a reason why Rafael Varane was crying when he ended up getting injured a couple of weeks ago, because I think he knew right then and then that his World Cup is over. And I mean, that's the state of the World Cup being at the end of the year.
Especially the guys that are coming from colder climates. You don't have an opportunity to acclimatize as well. I mean, you're playing in, low, kind of low noughts, almost 2-3 degrees, and now it's suddenly going to be 40. I mean, you're going to have muscle tears. You're going to have all sorts of nasty things happen to guys in the group stages. I think it's inevitable. Even if it's in the training, in the first week, I mean, it's going to be a nasty World Cup. And I mean, no one's going to care at FIFA because they're making the money. It's actually really, really gross and disgusting. But I mean, are we going to watch it? Probably.
Of course we are.
Well, we're going to have to, because we got to be on the show.
That's also true.
Valid point, Mubeen. Valid point.
Well, we're going to be watching it. Wasim is going to be experiencing it. Right? In stadiums. What a guy.
Yeah. It's always been a dream to go and watch the World Cup, and when I experienced it in 2010, I was like, that was amazing. And as AF always told me, it's an unforgettable month that we had. So to try and go through it again, albeit under different circumstances, different country with sweltering weather and stuff, but hoping to enjoy some good football live and see like Ghana, Spain, and maybe possibly Brazil.
Oh, fantastic! Enjoy it.
Yeah.
I mean, the stadium will be air-conditioned, so you should be leaving us live coverage.
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to get some footage for you guys, and so the viewers better stay tuned.
Amazing.
No,
Nikita,
crazy.
Off the World Cup, straight into your club. FSG has put the club up for sale. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I'm not entirely sure the club's up for sale. I think they've, I wouldn't say they've always made it clear. I think there's always been an indication that they would be willing to sell shares in the club. I mean, they've done it before with the Moneyball guy a couple of months ago. We all knew about LeBron getting shares in the club for a number of years now. And I think people have kind of played that down because it was quite insignificant shareholdings. And I think what this news leak has kind of indicated is that, they're looking at letting go probably more material parts of the club. And I think that probably indicates that they're realizing after the failed Super League that, the kind of fans are probably not going to be as happy that we're not going to be able to compete with the likes of the Cities and the Newcastles as much as we would probably like. And in order to do so, you're going to have to be spending ludicrous amounts of money. And in order to do so, you're probably going to need new investment in the club. And whether that's either a bigger kind of investor, so giving up more of your shareholding, or whether that's an out-and-out sale, which I suspect is probably what they want to do, you're going to have to kind of go to market and put the club up for sale. I suspect that the fact that it's leaked, I said this on Twitter yesterday, that means that there's definitely bidders on the table, very serious bidders who probably put down some money already, indicating that they are very serious. They've probably already closed on some CPs. That basically just means that they've given an intent to buy in business speak. So I suspect that they should probably announce something, I would say, in the next week or two. Because I would assume by the point where we are now, where they're announcing something, that, due diligences have been done, etc., etc. Am I happy? No. because I don't think that any sort of business or person or consortium that is buying a business for £5 billion, which is the quoted number, is a business that is, or a person that's going to prescribe to the values of Liverpool Football Club. We are a football club that is entrenched in the city, in goodness, in doing things the right way. And we really, as much as people don't think so, we're really lucked out with FSG. You know, they haven't been perfect. You know, they furloughed our staff initially during COVID, and we rose up against them and they said, sorry, and they pulled it back. And, you know, they went ahead and they've, spearheaded the Super League, and we said absolutely not a damn. And they reneged on that, and, they said sorry, and we should have thought this through. The next set of owners you're going to get are not going to be that way. They're not going to be as considerate to the fan base. They're not going to want to, reinvest in the academy, build the thorough academy. Yeah, maybe they're going to want to throw lots of money at Liverpool City and invest in the city the same way that the Mancunians have done at Manchester City. But I don't think they're going to want to do it the right way. And as much as I really don't like Saudi oil, I talk against that a lot at Newcastle at the moment. And the same way at Manchester City with the Emiratis, I think we're probably going to end up with something similar. Whether it be Chinese money, whether it be somewhere Middle Eastern money, or whether it be another American consortium, we're probably going to end up with something similar. And I'm really not looking forward to that.
I feel
really
like
not looking forward to that.
I feel like a couple of months ago, I don't know, like I feel like I read something, probably on Twitter, I don't know, that there was a Chinese state-backed company that had a offer refused at Liverpool.
Yes.
Do you think that same company could maybe come back now?
I mean, I can't imagine that there wouldn't be a number of offers on the table. I think 5 billion for Liverpool Football Club is an exceptionally attractive asset. If you look at the numbers, if you look at 4.5 billion, what Bowley paid for Chelsea, I think Liverpool's a far more attractive asset. If you look at fan base, if you look at revenue, if you look at the balance sheet, sorry, I'm not talking real financial speak, but that is my forte. And funnily enough, M&A, mergers and acquisitions, is literally what I do for a living. But we have a far healthier balance sheet. We have very little debt on our balance sheet. FSG have done a wonderful job of running the business. It is a very financially healthy business. So I think that if you were looking at 5 billion, you're probably looking at a steal. And for them, they've made 10 times the money because they bought the club for 400 million and they're thinking 10 times the money. It's a steal. And remember, you're getting a newly developed main stand, a newly developed Anfield Road end. I mean, what more could you ask for? You're basically buying a club that's ready for takeoff. All you've got to do is basically take £500 million and revamp that squad. And you got trophies in the bag and money in the bag for the next decade. And you're competing with the likes of Manchester City and Newcastle for basically TV rights. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think there's lots of offers. I think there's Dubai, probably. I heard talk, I won't say from who, but I heard a little birdie whispered in my ear today about a Norwegian business that was seriously in the mix today.
So you know what that means, right? Jurgen Klopp out, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in immediately.
And that's the thing. And that's what I think people don't realize. Like, I don't think necessarily that Jurgen Klopp is going to necessarily fit the profile with the new owners. I don't necessarily think it's going to gel.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that these guys are the Grim Reapers and the worst people on the planet. I'm not saying that they've got bodies buried in their basement, right? But all I'm saying is you can't have your cake and eat it all the time. And if you want the perfect manager, which we have, in my opinion, you can't necessarily also have the perfect owners, which are the guys with a big checkbook, who are also the guys that also, don't have oil in their backyard, who are also not state-owned. You can't have it all the ways, unfortunately. Such a perfect football club, in my opinion, doesn't exist.
I mean, we saw it happening with Chelsea, with Todd Bowley like buying the club, and his first order of business was getting rid of Thomas Tuchel. And I mean, like, he's a seasoned manager. Like, I mean, he's won like huge trophies, and this new guy comes in and he's like, okay, no, he doesn't align with what we're trying to accomplish. And then they go ahead and they hire a manager from a mid-table club to try and take them further. So you aren't really guaranteed like the same manager, or like that your manager would, or the owner would buy into what the manager is currently doing, which could always be a worry.
It's a big concern for me, and I don't think all Liverpool fans think like that. And I'm not saying the way I think is correct. I'm just saying that's the way my logic works. You know, I'm very concerned. I'm very unsettled. Like, it's the same thing. It's just, the way I liken it is, if your company got bought over, the company you were working for 10 years got bought over, how would you feel? You would feel unsettled. It's the same way the people at Twitter felt last week. The company you were working there for 10 years. The company gets bought over by this like billionaire, the richest person on the planet, and then what? You don't know if your job is safe. You don't know if you're gonna work there next week. You might get fired with a meme. You know what I mean? Like, that's exactly how I felt. You know, your line manager, who you love and trust, who's guided you and driven you to great success. Who in my mind is Jurgen Klopp. And his management team suddenly gets the boot next week. How would that make you feel? I mean, that would make me feel terrible. And that's how I feel, and that anxiety is what kills me. So now I'm not feeling good. I really would have felt a lot better if I went off a win against Spurs, Napoli qualifying, a nice little Carabao Cup win hopefully tomorrow night, and a win against Saints, and knowing that most of our players are going to be bubble wrapped, have a nice summer holiday somewhere, and come back on Boxing Day. But now you got this kind of deal looming over your head. So yeah, guys, sorry, not feeling very good.
Yeah,
I was wishing I could give Liverpool fans a little bit more calm, but apologies.
I was thinking about it, right? And I mean, you've detailed it so eloquently, but like, is there ever a good time for this to happen? I mean, this is happening at a time where we're getting a World Cup mid-year, or not mid-year, sorry, but mid-season. And now you're having such drastic changes that maybe they come back and, okay, Klopp's office is clean, schoon, and this one didn't have a time to say goodbye to anybody, and there's new ownership, and it goes into a very weird period because we've got 2 games, I think, and then the January transfer window open. So then suddenly it's like, okay, if you're going to get a new manager, the new manager's going to want a new guy. If you are saying that these guys, I mean, like you say, they're not Grim Reapers, but if it does come that they want this one, and they just go...
I don't even think it's that, Jason. I think it might be Klopp saying, I don't like these guys. They don't ascribe to my personal convictions. And for him, it's about the oak. He always says, like, I'm never going to sign a player if I know he's a douchebag. Like, he always says that. Like, I'm never going to sign a guy if I know he's not a good guy. There's a reason we didn't sign Yves Bissouma. There's a reason we didn't sign him. There's a reason Nathaniel Klein no longer plays for Liverpool Football Club, because they weren't good guys. And that came out, when we did our due diligence on those guys. And that's why they don't play for the club. So for me, I'm worried that the ownership might not morally be right for Klopp, and then Klopp might go. And Klopp's office, as you say, might be clean by the time. And then you never know, we might have Graham Potter come on January. I'm taking off Chelsea's hands.
That sounds...
Or Thomas Tuchel.
I was saying that sounds like a very nervous laugh.
No, it is I'm very anxious, guys. Like, when things like this happen, I mean, 10 years ago, when my club was almost going into administration and was that serious, I mean, Wasim will know what it's like, because he went through it a couple of months ago. It is anxiety-stricken when you think an institution as big as Newcastle or Liverpool Football Club, you think can literally... it's going to be a flippin' poster on your wall, right?
Yeah.
And this is maybe not that, right? It's maybe not that, because, but it's the other option. It's the worst. It's the worst option, because, we live in a world where morally now is the time to make the right call. And where you are at a point in your life where the right call must be made now morally, and your club and institution might be going the wrong way. It's tough. It's really tough. But we'll see. Hopefully FSG will, I don't know, FSG will make the right call. I mean, ultimately they'll take the most money. And but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, we'll see after Christmas. Maybe we'll get a nice Christmas present.
Okay. Best of luck to you guys. Hope it all works out. But moving on to a team that, it's been their best run for a couple of seasons now. Like they going to be ending the break now before the World Cup break in the top 4, on top of the log most likely. And that's, I mean, Jason's already wearing his Arsenal gear here. He's ready for it. In Arteta we trust, eh?
Yo, let me tell you guys, this process that I've been trusting in, it's been very tiresome. But also, in all fairness, I thought you were going to lead to actually Wasim, because isn't this their best start as well in a few years that they could finish stuff?
That's why I coupled it with top of the log.
Oh, okay, no, fair enough. That's I thought they were still gonna get there. Yeah, it's good, man. It's such a weird feeling because I haven't had this feeling for so long. Like I would go into games knowing, okay, this team is gonna do something, and we're gonna self-sabotage, and we're gonna lose, and not even 15 minutes later there'll be memes about my club, and I will literally have the same giggle that Nikita had there. It's like, yeah, everything will be okay. Meanwhile, put my phone down, cry into my pillow. It really is a breath of fresh air. I think there's something more tangible about what Arteta's been doing now with these results. And yeah, there's a newfound resilience. I think Arsenal have been known in this last few years as just being a bantering club and just somebody that's going to be battered all the time, and it's just easy. And I think we've sort of gotten a bit more stronger in that essence, in that vein. It's nice, and okay, things aren't 100% good all the time, but I think it's good for most of the time, which is good for me. So yeah, man, it's nice. It's good to watch and not be the banter club of the Premier League, which for some reason was so weird for me because there were teams doing worse than us, but everybody was just Arsenal's the banter also. But come on, guys, no, man. So yeah, it feels good. Whether we'll be able to maintain it is a different thing, but I'm gonna enjoy it while it's lasting now, and we'll see next season. Maybe we can give a sustained challenge.
Nikita, what was that face?
No. I was just saying, I think it's excellent. Just enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah.
I don't think it will be maintained. It's impossible.
Yeah, look, we are paper thin. We are paper thin at this moment in time, and it's good and it's fine now. But this is a very pivotal time in our season, and we're gonna go on a 4-week.
I mean, and that's why I say just enjoy it. You're playing exceptional football. I watch your games week in, week out, not because I want to or because any other reason other than it is an enjoyable football match to watch. It's literally I get more enjoyment watching Arsenal Football Club play a match of football than I do Manchester City because the football is enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that you should recall in, regardless of whether you finish first, second, or third. Because I can't imagine you finish any lower than that. I can't imagine it. I can't imagine you guys slipping further than that, Jason. You should really enjoy it because, and this is what I said. I swear to God, I said this a year ago, guys, on this podcast. Arteta has a plan. Stick with it. You can see he's making a consistent change in this team. There is definitely something coming. And we're seeing the benefits of it today. Whether I think you'll win the league, I don't think so. I think City are just as strong. They've got like for like on the bench and a B team and a C team and God knows what else. And in the transfer kitty of $500 million in January transfer window if they need to go and reinforce. But I mean, enjoy it. It's fantastic. For what you've had to invest for Arteta as a young coach, Martin Odegaard as a 20, goodness knows what. Messi has been reject. playing in midfield. It's fantastic. Xhaka reborn again 2 times
Granite
over,
Xhaka,
ex-captain.
Pretty boy swag.
Granite Xhaka.
Saliba, the most gorgeous goatee I've ever seen. I mean,
Did you
That's
mention
Virgil van
Martinelli?
Dijk,
How did you not mention
yeah.
Martinelli?
Nah.
and I was
Martinelli.
getting to Gabby Martinelli. I mean, geez, there's just so many G's in that team. Gabby at the back and Gabby in the middle. I mean, I would literally take Harvey Elliott, cut him in half in quarters, and then serve him up on a platter to take Gabby Martinelli. He is fabulous. I so thoroughly enjoy watching Arsenal Football Club, and that's not for me sitting in God knows what 8th or 9th or wherever I am. But it is such an enjoyment. Enjoy it, Jason. It is just exquisite. It's so nice to see a plan come together,
Honestly.
And like I said, wherever it ends,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
a dream. It was a dream.
I think it's nice, right? Because we obviously missed out, and in a way that was very banter worthy. We were literally going good, and then we just threw it away. It's nice now to actually see that there's a continuation on from what we showed in bits and parts to having it a bit more consistently. And I think our aim this season was just to get Champions League, get it back to the carpet, bring it back to Emirates. Also, so I can free up my Thursday nights for at least a bit. Maybe if we finish third, maybe we come back to Thursday night, but at least we started on a Tuesday and a Wednesday. Because the Lord knows, Thursday nights at 10 o'clock, I should be in bed because I have work the next day. And it's Friday, I already don't want to work, and then I must still watch the game at like 10 o'clock when we're playing against like a Zurich or, I mean, no disrespect to them, but
Cyprus.
yeah, like a Sheriff, somebody that plays, there's a railway next to the stadium, and you can watch the game from your window in your nah, man. You mean that
As a
soundtrack?
colleague of mine said, at least you guys get to see all of Europe.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. These guys' visas are probably stacked with places that they never thought they would go to. So yeah, it really is, like Nikita says, it's just an enjoyment at the stage. And yeah, if we can string a good run of form together and actually run City close, I literally don't mind it. But for us, I think top four should be a must. And if we get that, whether it's 4-3-2 or if eventually one, from my words to God's ear, then okay, then that's what needs to happen.
Yeah, no, I remember before the season started, we all did our bit of predictions, and I don't think anybody besides Jason actually called Arsenal in the top four. So yeah, guys sticking by his team, and I hope for your sake that you guys actually stay there. And yeah, man, I mean, Arsenal's a historic club, and I mean, you need to see them back up and challenging again. But a new club that is currently in the top four as well. Wasim is rocking this jersey quite nicely here. Are you on cloud nine over there? What is happening? This must be the best you felt in a very long time.
Definitely it is. Yeah, it's been amazing, and I think it's almost similar to Jason in that Jason was hoping that Arsenal would be top four, and he's getting a bonus that they top, and whatever happens, if they do win the league, it would be amazing, and it's a dream. But it's still well beyond his expectations for the season. So the same for us. I was hoping top eight. If you could sneak a seventh and get the Conference League position, I would have been happy with that. But the way we're playing, the way we are getting results, like Sunday we didn't play too well against Southampton, but we won 4-1. It's crazy. So I think it's just been a joyful ride, and I'm trying to just enjoy it as much as I can and ride the wave because I don't know if it's going to last the whole season. It might not. Similar to Arsenal again, our squad is also fairly thin. A couple of injuries up front, and you don't know where the goals are going to come from again. So it's very exciting, and I think credit to Eddie Howe for the way he's galvanized the team, and the way he's improved players, and the way the persons or the players that he's brought in, the character that they've shown, like Bruno and Trippier, they've brought quality, but they've also brought that winning mentality and that never say die attitude, and that's rubbed off on everybody else. So really amazing to see.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are like they're speaking about like Bruno Guimaraes this season, but I mean Miguel Almiron, man, jeez, I don't think anybody could have expected the type of season he's going to have.
I mean, I'm a Newcastle fan. I thought that he would be sold in the summer because there was rumors that we were looking for a right winger, and we were looking at Musa Diaby, and there were rumors that we're going to get a new right winger. So I automatically thought Almiron spent the end of last season in the team as the right winger. He doesn't score that many goals, and he didn't up until last season. So I thought, okay, he's going to be the one to go. We'll get an upgrade on him, and it'll all be good. And then he ended up staying, and then he had an amazing preseason where he scored he was our top scorer in preseason. And then everyone thought, okay, it's preseason, everybody's does well in preseason, but it means nothing. The games and the results don't mean anything. But he's just used that as a springboard, and his confidence is like next level. And he's trying things. Like last week, he tried a shot, 1-2 touch, and it was a shot outside the box, and it just flew into the corner. And I was like, wow! Like last season, he would have open poles, and he would prefer to pass because he didn't want to take the responsibility of taking a shot and missing. Whereas now he's trying audacious things, and it's just going in. And yeah, I think it's credit to him because his attitude has always been, excellent, and you can never fault him for putting in hard work, pressing, running till the 95th minute, and doing those things that please the crowd. But ultimately, he's an attacker, and he was judged on goals and assists. And this season, he's top of the chart for us in that regard. So yeah, it's amazing. And again, you couldn't imagine it, but I think it's also shown that what Eddie Howe has done is he's told players that you just put in the effort and work hard at your game, and if you do well enough, you're not going to be dropped. And it doesn't matter if the club is aiming for top four or ambitious things, you can be part of it if you show the right mentality, and I'm doing it.
Yeah. I mean, another person as well, like you just mentioned now, Eddie Howe. Like, I mean, initially everybody thought he was going to be sort of a stopgap manager, like a stepping stone for Newcastle to go from this to basically a higher level manager. But like nobody expected him to be working like his magic in this way so quickly. What are your thoughts on how well he's done since he's came in?
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. He's also taken it as an opportunity to say, look, when he took over, we were 19th or 20th in the league, and he said that, look, I've got an opportunity to take this club forward. Okay, they've spent 200 million, which is a big sum of money, but if you look at it properly, like the way he's improved every single player that's been in the squad. Jacob Murphy scored a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, saying last season, I don't want to see this guy in a Newcastle shirt because he's just not good enough. But this season, we are in the top 3, and he started at the weekend. So it's like he's just worked on, doesn't matter, who he has in the squad. He's just worked on improving each player in the training ground. And I think that intensity that he works with in the training ground, which not all managers do. Some managers, they sort of just go through training to get to the weekend where they can, pick their team and play the game. Whereas he uses the training ground and the week that he has, because there's no European fight, no European football for us. So he uses that week to really work on players, get them better at certain things, strengthen the weaknesses so that it's not, as bad. And it's just amazing to see what he's done. And I also thought he was going to be a manager just to sort of get us to Europe. But then after that, he'll be relieved of his duties, and then someone bigger will come in. But the way he's going, it's like I would like to keep him for as long as possible because he seems to be the right guy and the right personality to get the best out of anyone, whether it's a Brazilian international like Bruno or if it's a local guy like Jacob Murphy. So yeah, amazing and well done to him.
100%. You guys have any thoughts you want to contribute on the Newcastle topic before we move on?
There's a question from a fan, Wasim, in your top right-hand side.
I can't see it at the moment. I'm watching from my phone, so if you want to read it to me, I don't mind answering.
No, it was just on the Almiron topic. I was just saying that I thought it was, I mean, I really think he's done so well, and I thought it was quite poignant how even Bruno was telling the fans to vote for him for Player of the Month because he's that. Even though Bruno was nominated, he was saying, "Please vote for Almiron because he's had such an incredible month." I just thought that was well. Firstly, Bruno is an awesome guy. But yes, so man, he's had an exceptional season so far. Long may it continue, except against us. Thanks.
What you mentioned is the team spirit that we have. Like Bruno, Trippier, and Almiron were nominated for Player of the Month for October. And generally, like, international from Brazil coming into the league, it's his first year. He'd be very happy just to be nominated. So you'd want, to get as many votes. But the team spirit that we have, it's like everyone is like, it's not just about me, it's about the team, it's about the fans. So it's like, I don't know how they've done it, but it's just everyone seems to be giving more than what they are capable of generally. And it's the sum of the parts, that's rubbing off on everyone. So I was amazed when I read that message of Bruno saying, I'm nominated, but don't vote for me. Miguel Almiron is living his dream, scoring every week, and let him win the Player of the Month because he deserves it. And I was like, wow, that's humility. It's just amazing.
But it's also just like Nikita had mentioned, this is an institution, right? Newcastle. Literally, you were saying that when you started, you had said no, you thought top 8, maybe sneak top 7. Top 7, maybe get to Conference League. But when's the last time Newcastle's actually been within European football and actually trying to grasp it, where it's actually something that's a real possibility, owing very much to the fact that not a lot of teams are very consistent this season. It seems like it's changing in that 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's literally going around there 9, 10 even. That would be like massive if Newcastle, even if it's not a Conference League, even if it's a Europa, or if it is Conference League, it's European football back again. And it's also what Nikita said with Jurgen Klopp, where he's somebody that's bought into the philosophy that Liverpool had and actually sowed into the city. I think I see Eddie Howe almost in a similar vein. He seems like really such an upstanding guy. And I mean, even when he was at Bournemouth, what he was able to do with Bournemouth with the little that he had, it's nice to see him now being rewarded with a team that can go big if they really want to, but he's also choosing to use what he's got. And if it gets to a point where, okay, this is not my ceiling with these guys, but this is where I can take them and I need to reinforce, it's nice to know that he's actually back to actually go on, because all we see is this merry-go-round of coaches, and it's not only in the EPL. I see it so much in our local league, PSL. These coaches, they'll start here, then they go there, and you're so surprised because not even a week ago you saw maybe Pizzo coaching Sundowns and I was coaching Chiefs. I mean, that's not the real thing, but literally that's how it's going. So it's really good to see Eddie Howe doing something good. And like Nikita said, for Arsenal, long may it continue for Newcastle as well.
Yeah, no, I'm just happy that you guys go into the World Cup break in the top 4. I think that is secured now, right?
Yes.
Whether United win or not, like, you guys will secure that top 4 spot either way. So that's great stuff for you, and I hope you guys have a great season further. But now, speaking about Manchester United, Mubeen, complacency. Is that what it is?
No, I don't think so. I don't know if you can remember on the last episode when we had Hassan on, I said that we just don't have a killer touch in the final third, and we drastically in need of a proper number 9. I think that is a problem at the moment. So we can't we can't score goals when we get to the box or just from outside the box. Creativity in there, we're very flat. I don't think it's complacency at all. I think there are a number of guys in the team that are playing now, that are playing for the shirt, for the club. I just think up front we just lack ideas. I mean, lack a proper out and out number 9. That is my take.
But I mean, the goals that were conceded over the weekend, that showed some frailties at the back still. Yes, Lisandro Martinez has been amazing for us this season. Arguably our best signing of the summer. But I mean, we've been unlucky with Rafael Varane getting injured. But I mean, we have Victor Lindelof there, who has played a couple of games before, and I mean, his partnership with Lisandro hasn't been that bad. But it just seemed that they seemed off the pace this past weekend. They underestimated the Villa players. I'm not sure why. Jason mentioned that in the group chat as well, there was a manager bounce, which fair, like manager bounces happen, but I mean our defenders just looked like well off the pace. Dilo, he looked a different player to what he's been the past couple of matches as well. So yes, I agree that we need a new number 9, but I mean our defenders weren't doing us any favors either. I don't know what your takes are on our defense.
No, I mean, to an extent, I agree. I think Villa came at us from basically from when the game started, and we sort of never recovered. Look, Lindelof probably had an off day along with the other guys. But I mean, if you look at the goals, one was a free kick, the other 2 probably defensive errors. And that's, I'm not saying it's a fault of Lindelof, but Martinez had been playing a lot with Varane until he got injured, so they were sort of starting to gel, form the partnership. So a guy like Lindelof coming in hasn't played much football prior to Varane's injury. Maybe it's just a case of them still needing to get used to each other in that partnership. But again, that shouldn't be happening at the level that these guys are playing. Yeah, look, I suppose it can happen. I'm not in any way disappointed. I think we're still playing much better football than we have for the past 5, 6, 7 seasons. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what your take is on it.
No, like, look, I mean, Jason spoke earlier about like Arteta's process and stuff, and I mean, in that first season, it was brutal for Arsenal fans. I mean, there were so many Arteta outcalls. I mean, Piers Morgan was doing that until about 5, 6 months ago. We finally started to get onto the Arteta trusting the process and whatever. But I mean, it took a while for them to get from there. How much was that? What about like 3 years since Arteta's been manager?
Yeah. It should be 3 years now. Yeah. November.
Yeah. So I mean, and the board backed him. They stood by him, no matter how many fans or part of the fan bases were calling for his head. And I mean, they're reaping the fruits now from like what he was trying to implement from the very beginning. And I mean, we saw in that All or Nothing documentary as well. Like, I mean, the guy's very knowledgeable. Like, he knew what he was doing. It was just about like getting player buy-in and getting his message across and everything to finally get everybody on the same page as him. And I mean, Erik ten Hag is 6 months into the job now. It's not going to happen overnight. There's going to be a lot of rough times ahead. I mean, he's got 5, 6 players in. There's going to be many more windows where he's going to get people in, and a lot of people that's still going to be kicked out. As hurtful as it is to say for me, I think Donny van der Beek is Danzi's at United. Like a tear running down my cheek here. I really wanted it to work out for him. But yeah, like there's going to be a lot of casualties, but like anything that will ensure that the club finally moves forward and we finally get back to where we are supposed to be. Yeah, I'm backing the manager, and if he wants to sell somebody like David De Gea as well, like that's been our savior this entire season, like fair enough, like so be it. Like I'll whatever he decides, if it's going to take Manchester United back to the top, I'm all ears.
Yeah, agree.
It really has to be like,
Go for it, Jason.
so it really has to be. It's not going to be an easy process, and I think both of our clubs came out of a period where we had one manager for so long, while other teams were chopping and changing, and we had these guys who were the titans of the game at that period of time. You know, they really changed English football, and it's not going to be a process where it can just be like a season. And I think we've paid the brunt as fans because we've had to go through. I mean, obviously the Arsenal club or Man United club as a whole have going through changes. But we as the fans obviously watch it. We take time out of our day and we watch it. And these guys, it's crazy what one game can do to you a whole weekend, or your mood, or your week, or something like that. And there'll be more of those games, and that's just things that you actually can't explain. Like Mubeen's trying to say, there's this, there's that, but it's like there were times where you guys looked like you could score, and there were times where you defended well, but you conceded goals and you also didn't score. So it's like it's going to happen, and there'll be games where you're sitting and watching like, that should have happened because last game that literally happened and we actually finished it. And it happens, man. It's just something that has to go. And I think even Nikita had it in Klopp's first few seasons where it was exciting, man. For us watching 5-4 against Norwich. Come on, man. Like Norwich, Klopp breaking his glasses that game. Like it has to be like that. It has to be where your defense is bad, but you can still outscore teams. It will be like that. It's going to take time, but it will eventually get there. That's what I feel. I mean, if it continues, in a relationship with a United fan, so it's going to be a bit harder for me, but it's okay. Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah. So, like, I hear you there. Like, the frustration for me is like, I mean, if you go to the Europa League game on Thursday, we need that second goal to avoid the Barcelona qualification now. We don't have anyone else on the bench to come up and grab that goal for us. We sent on Harry Maguire. So we go back 6 seasons to when we sent on Fellaini, play route one. So that's what I'm trying to get at, is that
100%.
There are glimpses of what we can achieve, if Ten Hag gets the time and he gets to rebuild the squad over time. We've seen those glimpses of what United can do to teams.
Yeah.
But as it stands now, January, if we don't get a number 9 in, it's going to be a tough run into the end of the season, particularly if we're going to need to end in the top 4 to qualify for Europe or for Champions League.
I think if I can also come in there, one of the things that I've noticed, is that Ten Hag seems to have a process. He has a style of play that he wants to, get across to the team, and they've sort of been doing that already with their passing and with the way they've been playing. But with the same with Arteta and the same with now with Idia, is they need time. They need transfer windows. They don't need, one transfer window doesn't fix everything. So he brought in certain players, but now what I feel United will do is they will learn from these mistakes. So they will learn from games like Villa, where perhaps Lindelof isn't good enough to be the backup centre back. So maybe next window they'll try and get a new centre back. Or he's been talking a lot in the media about getting the lot to have another right back with him so that he can alternate, because now you've got Europa games, you've got Premier League games, and with the congested fixture list, Guys are playing every week, every game. So I think what it highlights is that you don't have the squad yet to compete where you want to be. But if you keep with the manager and you follow his process and you have more time in terms of transfer windows coming up now and another one in the season, you will get there eventually. And I think with United, you can see that there's already been a vast difference from seasons gone by. It's not going to be perfect at the moment, but last season Arsenal lost 3 games against Spurs, away, and they really sort of caved in. And but look at him now. So I think if you follow the process, trust the process, you've got the right man who can get you there, but he just needs more time. And unfortunately, he hasn't yet obviously had that. So I think give him time, you'll get there.
Yeah, no, definitely. I am fully behind him, and hopefully it works out for me. What's it like? 5th time lucky since Sir Alex retired?
Probably. Could be, yeah.
Yeah, we have to come right sometime eventually. But yeah, I think if nobody else has anything else to say, then we can wrap it up. Yeah, that is all that we have today for 343. Just a reminder that we are going to be covering the World Cup as well. We'll probably have like a sort of a recap round, a recap show after every round. I think that'll be every like 5 days or something. I don't know. We're working out the logistics of it, but yeah, we will be covering the World Cup, and yeah, we hope to see you guys there. Before I sign off, don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Sportycast. Yeah, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Yeah, we appreciate everybody. Anybody has any last thoughts before we sign off?
None
All
from
good?
me, man. Bring on the Carabao Cup.
Oh my God, that's Aston Villa again for us. Damn.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Hopefully that manager bounce is done. Yeah, but yeah.
Dog's Day or something.
Thanks, Nikita, Wasim, Mubeen, and Jason for showing up once more. You guys are always awesome. I'm AF4343. I'm out of here.